And now for something completely new. Toyota has just launched an all-new midsize premium sedan. Haven't heard that in a while. Now, is this going to be a crowning achievement, or is it going to be something that falls into the abyss of models that could have been? Well, my look at the all-new 2023 Toyota Crown is coming right up. With the launch of a new vehicle design with an old nameplate, they have a chance to continue showing their sort of new vision of how they plan to roll out vehicles with options and powertrains. That begins with this Crown, which replaces the Avalon in their model lineup, and it comes with two powertrain options, both of which are traditional hybrid. There is no gas-only option, no PHEV, no Prime, not yet, and no EV. We know about that story. But there's just two hybrid options only. There's three trim levels in this Crown. You have an XLE, your Limited, which is what I'm in, and your Platinum. The XLE and Limited is going to come with the traditional Toyota hybrid system, one that's been around forever, we know it well, and it is a 2.5 liter engine paired with an electronic motor. In this case, there is a separate motor that is attached to the rear for all-wheel drive. We'll talk about that again in a second. But it offers 236 net horsepower. The Platinum trim is where they're introducing what they call the Hybrid Max system, and that is where you take a 2.4 liter turbocharged four-cylinder engine, and it's paired with an e-axle, what they call, which is basically a premium electric motor to the rear. There's no transfer case in the all-wheel drive system. It's done by separate motors, but in this case with the Hybrid Max, you're getting a total of 340 net horsepower and output, and 400 pound-feet of torque. So you've got basically, your more performance premium oriented and your basic mainline powertrain, both of which are hybrid only. And as I said, both of these hybrid systems are electronic all-wheel drive, and depending upon the system. So with the traditional Toyota hybrid system, you've got it's basically electronically controlled. It is always going to be a front wheel bias, but the range in the rear with the motors can go anything from 100% front up to about 80-20 split. And the vehicle will determine when it is best and under what conditions to adjust. With the Hybrid Max, you can have a range, similar system, but more advanced, where the difference is anywhere between 80-20 and 70-30. But again, it's dependent upon conditions, and the vehicle takes care of that determination for you. But fuel economy is certainly advantageous. With this limited trim and in the Toyota hybrid system, the combined fuel economy that has been posted by Toyota is 5.7 liters per 100 kilometers, or 41.3 US miles per gallon. With the Toyota Max system, the Hybrid Max system, that fuel economy with a greater output and the turbocharged engine would be higher, but it's said to be 7.8 liters per 100 kilometers, or 30.2 US miles per gallon. So in my observations with this vehicle here in the traditional Toyota hybrid system, I basically had it a week. I'm actually on my way to return this vehicle now. I've actually done better. I have been averaging throughout the week, I think I'm now at 5.1 liters per 100, which is about a 15% improvement over posted. In terms of the overall drive experience, this is not meant to be a performance-oriented. Perhaps in the Platinum, I'm not driving that right now, so I can't comment. But this is not a stiff suspension. I mean, I don't think it would be appropriate. It's more of a cruiser. So there is some give and softness to it. Handling on turns, it's a minimal roll, but that's expected as well. So overall, it's about what you think. The design thinking at Toyota with the launch of this new Crown is to bridge the perceptual gap that exists between sedans and crossovers. I mean, we still have a bias heavily towards crossovers, SUVs. That's why this launch really has had me so fascinated. And so how they're trying to do that is in some of the elements you see here in the exterior design. First of all, one of the things you notice is kind of a lifted perception, and that comes from a couple of things. Number one is the wheels. On this Limited, which is a middle trim, and the XLE, you've got 19-inch wheels, which again is large for a sedan. And on the Platinum, it goes up to 21 inches. So that's, again, it's a heftier wheel size than you normally would notice on a sedan. The other thing that drew my attention is the black cladding just down on the bottom, which again, it's almost like a floating roof design you see on some models where it's blacked out on the A and the C pillar. But again, it almost gives that sort of darkness where you think it's higher. And when you look at this vehicle from the side view, it sort of seems that it's higher up, almost like a cross-country XC60, something like that. So you have the wheels, and overall you have a really nice shape to it. And I have to admit, when I first saw this vehicle online, when the launch in different color schemes, it didn't strike me. But as I've gotten to know this and drive this throughout the week, I really do have an appreciation for the overall design. The front here is very swooped, and you've got, you know, the grille is, again, it's almost different because you normally expect air intakes, and it almost has a bit of a electrified grille. There are air intakes, but there's a black bottom here. Certainly no spindle grills that we see on the Lexus. And overall, you see the lines. It is higher in terms of entry point. I mean, it's not as low down to get in. That's another one of those tips towards getting something that's more crossover-like. You also look at the back. It's a very aerodynamic, swooping shape. And on the back, it's almost kind of a fastback design, you could say. And it might make you think there isn't even a trunk as there would normally be on a regular sedan. But it does have an angle, and it does pop in. And the trunk space itself is decent enough. It's about 15.2 cubic feet, which certainly is good enough for you know, some groceries, golf clubs, hockey bags. I'd imagine you could probably put someone in there.
You lost it.
No, I didn't. Well, you might need seating for 6 or other reasons. Anyway, that's your look at the exterior of the 2023 Crown. As for the interior of this Crown, again, as replacing the Avalon, it is supposed to be more of a larger size. It's still categorized as a mid-size sedan. I was trying to find the passenger volume, but for whatever reason, that figure is not available in the specifications from Toyota. However, I do know that given that the wheelbase is about 1 inch longer and it's higher and wider on the exterior, it probably is a bit larger in passenger volume than the Camry, and it's basically 100.4 cubic feet. So, you know, I don't know how much more, but I know it would be larger than that, and it certainly does feel larger. It is an open space vehicle. There's plenty of room in the second row, more than enough. It feels comfortable, no problems there. Overall, the interior layout is comfortable. I mean, the one thing I do find that's a little bit different from, you know, a typical SUV or crossover is the low ceiling here. There's not a lot of headroom, and it's even made more so with the fact that on this limited trim and in the Platinum, you have this fixed panoramic sunroof, and that does lower the roof height. So I've noticed it. My son, who's taller than me, sitting in the passenger seat, he's just like that before the roof. In terms of appointments and upgrades, you have a lot of decent standard features. All trim levels have standard and 8-way power adjustable front seat, both driver and passenger. In all trims also you have heated seats in the front as standard. When you get up to the Limited and to the Platinum, you get heated and cooled seats in the front and also heated seats in the second row. In this mid-level Limited and Platinum, the sound system is upgraded to an 11-speaker JBL system. It's fine, it's good, it's not great. The Crown is also the beneficiary, I guess, of their Toyota's new infotainment system. It is a standard across all trims. You have your 12.3-inch center system. There is wireless Android Auto and Apple CarPlay connections. I'm not in love with the system. There's still too many non-tactile touch points on the side. It's a little bit finicky. Again, we're seeing it. It's not going away. The images are crisp and clear. It just, I've never found it to be the most user-friendly and interactive. What is good is, of course, the climate controls do have plenty of tactile. They're all buttons just below the center screen, so I don't have to dig into sub-menus for that, which is something I really am annoyed with in other manufacturers. So that's easy enough. What I really do like in this Crown is they have in the available the wireless QI charger. It's a vertical charger here. Your typical shift knob, you've seen it again, it's electronic shifting. You just gotta, it's a little finicky, but you have to know how to use it. Otherwise, you've got your drive mode selectors in the center stack, and also you have an easily accessed auto brake hold feature, which I'm always a proponent of now. If you do a lot of city driving, it's great to have an auto brake hold where you can just take your foot off the pedal and relax your foot a bit while you're stopped. So I do like that as well. In terms of seating and materials, the XLE does have a cloth material, and you have a combination leather in both the limited and the platinum. I mean, it's not overwhelmingly luxurious. It's very much a Toyota interior. I think, you know, if you see it, you would go, oh wow, this is definitely a Toyota. So, I mean, overall, the interior seating is comfortable and fine. Aside from the center screen, which the infotainment system is, you know, not my favorite, everything else generally is functional and operable the way it should be. Where I think there is really the eye-catching element of it is in this exterior. Because it's so new, because people are not used to seeing this, and again, the exterior look, which I talked about, is quite different. It is eye-catching. Just this morning, as I dropped off my daughter to school, the principal, who's usually around when that happens, she knows what I do, and you know, she's commenting the odd time on cars, and she stopped. She says, "Whoa, what is this?" And had to do a once around, going, "This is really interesting." So I think Toyota has won in that regard. They've created something that does get some attention, and I think for the right reasons. I really am fascinated by this Toyota Crown. It speaks to me more at the end of the week than it did at the beginning, and there's a lot that I like, but I'm really intrigued as to whether the marketplace is going to accept it. Despite all the little attempts to bring it forward, it's really a mystery to see whether they'll take it in only hybrid form, as a sedan, in all the other iterations. But I'm going to watch it with interest, and I really did enjoy reviewing this, and I hope you enjoyed watching it. If you're not subscribed to my channel, please consider doing so, and if you are, don't forget to ring the bell so that you're notified of every time I upload something new. That's it for now. I'm Eric Novak. Thanks for watching.